Hi, Mandy.
Hi.
About time you got here.
Sorry, running late.
Come on, let's go in. Let's get at this. Come on.
Are you going to shoot outside today?
Yeah, we're going to shoot outside. Follow me. We've had a big rain here in California, so let's watch out for the puddles. Okay. And watch out for the steps.
Okay.
I'm taking you on this little journey in the smallest backyard in the world, but it looks big like this, doesn't it?
All right.
But everything is soaking wet, so we're going to find a little spot, but watch out for the puddles.
So do you have ideas for this week's blog?
You know what? I thought since it's our anniversary, we would just sort of talk about our process.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Anyway,
Let's do it.
You know, Mandy, I have a slew of stuff to memorize today. I'm going to try to sit in this spot so I can try to focus because I am, as Cassie, who told me once, yes, too many, and she said, squirrel! And that is me. It's so hard for me to stay focused and concentrating. So, anyway.
So the blog.
The blog. Which
2 years?
Yeah, 2 years. I can't really believe that, actually.
Yeah.
You know. How many did you say we've done consecutively?
108. And we only missed one Thursday.
Yeah. It's 108. I mean, it's amazing there's been that many topics. So thank you guys for giving us ideas because, needless to say, every single week, Mandy usually calls me up and says, so what do you want to talk about this week? And sometimes I have no idea. And sometimes I try to, actually, when I'm sort of walking around in my day, to be inspired by something. Like just today, actually, I haven't told you this, but there's a guy that we know that I've known for a long time that is at Cardio Bar, and he has a restaurant, and I thought I should talk to him about coming in and shooting a cooking segment.
I thought of that the other day.
Yeah.
Going in and being in his kitchen.
Yes. So I want to do that. So it's like that. So it's like things that pop up that inspire me, or when I was building my vegetable garden, which is right over here, we did a thing on that, or, whatever. I just try to, grab these things. And I love it when other people say they want to do a guest blog. So if you guys have any great things you want to be a guest blogger, I love that too. But Mandy's been really great about, many times I have said, I really don't have anything to talk about this week. And she's like, no, you're committed to doing it every single week. So we do try to do it every single week.
You do. So how did the whole idea come about?
Well, because my daughter, Katie, who is 26, my Dolly, as you guys know, Dolly, because I've called her that her whole life, I just am always, helping friends decorate or cooking or baking or doing stuff. And she just said, you should really write a blog and share this information with people. And I just said, oh, yeah, but, how do you launch it? How do you do it? And I was having a conversation with Mandy about it. And she said, well, I could help you do that. I could be your editor. And I thought, well, that might be the only way to do it because I'm a terrible speller. I always say I'm going to work in my husband's office, but I know he'd fire me instantly because I'm a bad speller.
I think less than the spelling. It's usually just one long paragraph.
Yeah. I have no punctuation.
None.
I have no punctuation. And so Mandy's great at sort of ironing out that roughness, but I think it's been really fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun, and
I've enjoyed it.
And I think the response has been really nice, and it seems like you guys like these video blogs, so I try to be really honest and answer your questions as honestly as I can. If I can. There's some things that, like, about the show and stuff I can't because they have all these rules about that, but, I can't show you the front of the script.
So what about the name, Plank?
The name came about because at the time I had this cookbook called Plenty, and it's a great cookbook, and I think I had another one called Jerusalem by the same author. But, so I kind of like the idea of a one word name. And so I threw some things at Mandy, and I said, how about Hoopla? Hoopla isn't taken in the, domain name or whatever like that. She goes, Hoopla? Really? It's not? I go, oh, it's Hoopla? I have always thought it was Hoopla. I've always said Hoopla. My kids will give me a hard time. I totally ruin names of things. And I think it's because I don't look very carefully. I just sort of glance, and I think I have it, but I don't really have it. So I thought Plank was sort of like a platform for inspired living, a platform to talk about things or to have a dialogue with people. And we couldn't get Plank.com because it was, what was it?
It was like $100,000
yeah, it was
to get
$100,000.
Plank.
So we went with Plank blog, but you guys, if you put in Plank, you get it. It pops up.
Yeah, and I think it's been really good. Lots of good topics, lots of good guest bloggers.
Yeah, I love guest bloggers. Did I say that already?
No.
So I love guest bloggers. So if anybody has something great to write about, please submit the idea to us.
Ideas. And definitely, we read your comments, but also if ever you want to email Mary Beth at plankblog.com, we read those. So send ideas and suggestions there if it's not something you want to post in a public comment.
And I have to say, one thing that's been really incredible is I try to be honest in my video blogs, but you guys are really honest too, and some of the things that you share with us is really amazing and heartfelt, and I know hard for you to share, so I appreciate that. I appreciate the trust that you want to share that, and I don't necessarily have answers, but I think sometimes just having a community to talk to is really a great thing. So we'll get together for our group sessions later. But especially for women, I know it's not just women looking at this, but I think women, we don't have enough, but we don't have enough avenues of talking. Like, I just went on a girls' weekend, and I've done them a few times, but the thing that I get the most out of it is, what's that eyeshadow you're wearing? Oh, and when we're out hiking, and we're just talking about our kids and different approaches of things, and now all of our kids are grown, my particular group, but there's still stuff to talk about, there's still stuff to navigate, still stuff that, how are we supposed to know? So I love that we sit and we talk as women about these different things, because here we're all, just living our little world, our little life. So.
In terms of process, so normally Mary Beth and I will talk early in the week and bring any ideas we might have, and if we have none, we'll look back at some of the suggestions you guys have sent in, or see what's out there in the world people are talking about.
I like putting recipes, and I have, in fact, somebody my mother-in-law even, I think it was, that said to me she was going to make the cauliflower pizza, and I just think these are things that I actually like to make, and I've talked about this in the video blogs and in other situations, that early on, in my marriage, when I first got married, I didn't know how to make anything. I worked at a restaurant that made quiche, so I made quiche, and when I first met my husband, I made every different kind of quiche, and that's our ongoing joke. But when I started having kids, you realize you can't go out to dinner all the time, and you need to feed them healthy. And my husband was always a big person for healthy eating anyway. Like, he was into Pritikin when I first met him, which was kind of grains and beans and but healthy stuff, heart healthy. And so we've always tried to live our life like that. So I have really taught myself over the years to cook, and I've taken classes, and I read cookbooks and get things from my mother-in-law or my mom or whoever. And just like this, I'll read it in a blog, or I'll read it somewhere in a magazine, and I try the recipe. And my husband is the king of it. It's so funny. He hasn't made that many things in his life, but he'll read, like once he read in GQ about the seafood boil, and I know I blogged about that, so you guys know that we had this big seafood boil. He got that at GQ. He once read in a John Grisham book about a beet stew. It was completely red. It was like beets and beef or something like that, and he made that. Then he, just the other day, he did a trial run for the playoff games of football of a nachos, that he made this whole bean concoction to put on top of this nachos in the recipe. Good thing he has me, though, to like clean up the mess, because it's not quite. And he's like, look at the tablespoons of the spoons, going, like, what's a half a tablespoon? There's not that spoon here, So anyway, I think I also like to entertain, and I love to have friends over and cook for them, and I think that stuff enhances your life. But I think just rarely, except for maybe after a Little League game, did I ever have fast food as a dinner. I always make dinner, or we go to a regular place. But I think it helps us completely in our heart healthy and our lifestyle, and we don't eat as much if we eat at home. And so that's why I kind of hope I'm encouraging you guys to try new things that are healthy and different. And a lot of people say they don't cook or they don't bake, and well, I didn't either. So it's really about follow the recipe and give it a go.
And sometimes seeing something, especially something like the cauliflower pizza, that you might never think to even try, and seeing it in a blog.
I didn't think to. You showed it to me. I had never thought about making that. So, and then now at Trader Joe's, you can get the cauliflowers riced. It's already ground up.
Which
so
makes it way easier.
Right, way easier. When I did it in my blender, it kind of turned to mush. But so I just think that it's a little step into doing things a little adventure for you, something that is different than you were normally doing.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so once we decide on topic, then the process begins, right? Mm-hmm. So Mary Beth usually will take a first pass at writing it, putting together thoughts. Do you want to share how you approach that? What's your process for that?
My process is to wait till the last minute, because that's what I do generally. But I try to get it to her on Wednesday so we can get it edited and ready to go by Thursday. But the graphics and everything is all Mandy. I do nothing with that. I'll send her a bunch of thousand zillion pictures or something, but it's her creative mind that puts that together. But what I try to do when I write the blog is write like I'm writing to my best friend. Or you guys. For some reason, I feel very familiar with all you guys. Maybe because I've met a lot of you, but and so I just sit down and write it as a friend. And then I've had some guest bloggers that write it not like that, and I'll say to them, write it more like you're talking to a best friend, because I think that's what this is all about. It's just a dialogue with friends, and like I said, I try to just be honest.
And you often will poke fun at yourself as a writer. That you're not a writer, but I think Mary Beth has a really unique, interesting voice as a writer.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
think
that.
so.
Oh, thank you.
So I see my role only as like the technicality, like we should put a period here, or perhaps there should be 2 sentences,
or 3 on that one.
but often you put words, even putting words together in unique ways. Like, so you have
made up words.
I don't mean that. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, you put thoughts together in a way that, like, if I read it, it sounds like you were talking to someone, which is hard for some people to do when they write.
Mm-hmm.
So Mary Beth will take a first pass and send it to me, and then I usually will make a first round edits or some suggestions of maybe something to add, or do you have a thought? What if we add something like this? And do you have photos that might help convey this? And I send it back to her, and then she'll usually send edits, and then I lay it out. And graphics usually, Mary Beth will send pictures, or as I'm reading it, I have a vision or a thought of like, well, we could do something like this. And sometimes I really am at a loss, like especially when it's a collage of photos, and I've done so many bulletin boards and so many like photo strips. But
you know what was a really cool one you did? I thought was the one you did for Kate Mancy just recently with that monkey.
Oh, the monkey.
That was really cool with the words, the good words that she had talked about.
Yeah. So, and then from there it's easy. We post it, and you guys take it and run with it and make comments. And I'm always kind of excited when we hit, go, because I'm excited to see
launch.
It's like. Because I'm excited to see what people have to say, and what your feedback is, and how you can relate to it. And even sometimes it's interesting. I did a guest blog about my CASA's sister.
Right.
And there was some interesting commentary about, it's hard for people to relate to that circumstance, but still the sort of empathy and emotion that generated. I don't know, it's cool to read.
It's funny, I was, speaking of CASA, I was in the middle of the night, woke up, because that's what happens when you're in your 50s. You wake up in the middle of the night, you can't go back to sleep. And I was thinking about CASA, and I was thinking about that everybody feels like they don't have time for something like that in their life, and the commitment involved in that. But it always rings in my head, this one episode I had where I've taken my boy to court, and, I haven't taken him, actually. He's brought in by the county bus, but I see him at the court. And the attorneys are all bogged down. They all got a million things going on. But the attorney came in. I'm waiting in the courtroom for the case, and he goes down to meet him, and comes back up and says to me, like, that kid's a piece of work or something. And then, your mother instinct, your fighter instinct comes out. And I asked him to step out of the court, and we got there. And I'm just like, no, listen, he's a great kid, and these are all the reasons why. And you can't go by his gruff, he's angry here, but that's not who he really is. And but just to have an advocate for you, I think any of us, whether you've got a great relationship with your dad, or a friend, or a mentor, or somebody who cared about you, that you think would go to bat for you, that's what these kids don't have, and that's what is the cool thing about a CASA. So I still always say to people, please, please, please look into it in your town, because it's everywhere. It's a national organization with the court system.
That experience has been just so, I don't know, eye-opening. Like, you read on paper, when you first get your case, you read the paper about where that kid's been and what he's done, and my kid had anger issues and all kinds of things, and it's different when you meet them. Your kid's a great kid. It just doesn't read that way, or it doesn't seem that way. And then if you sit in that courtroom, even beyond the cases that I'm involved with, and listen to what some of those kids have been through, that they're not shocking. More mad or more, messed up.
I just heard today, now I'm going to get way off topic on my escapades here. This is how it goes.
This is the process.
Yeah, no, this is the process. But I was just this morning, I wake up to NPR, and so I get, this is just too much information too early. But in Wisconsin, I think, of all places, I think it's Wisconsin or Minnesota, there is a children's detention center, and they, there's been now a court case filed because they're putting these kids in
solitary
solitary confinement or
I-
pepper spray or all that stuff, and you just think like. These are kids, and without hope and without that kind of damage, I mean, what do we really expect the next generation to be
Right.
if this is the life that they're leading? But anyway, off topic, but it's a great organization, and I encourage everybody to look into it.
And Mary Beth's getting honored by this organization in a couple of months.
Well, I'm only taking it because I think if there's a way to spread the word to more people, then I'll do that. But it's everybody. I mean, there's so many heroes involved in that, and there's grandmas that work, and they'll have like 4 kids that they're CASA for.
I can't.
Anyway,
I like how we call these meetings.
yeah, meetings. I tell her, I say come to lunchtime, but I'm not having lunch because we're all on a diet. Okay, so anywho.
I've got sweet potato chili.
Oh, that's
at the office.
I have some in my freezer. I was thinking maybe I would defrost that. I have a whole sweet potato. I might even have that.
So that's really our process.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And then then the graphic part of it is like, watching sausage be made. You don't even want to see how that occurs.
Well, maybe you should
I
set this little camera up.
I should show.
And you should do that at your house because I have no idea. I have no idea, and maybe I'd learn something because I have no idea. It's that part. That part's magic.
You can do magic. You can have anything that you desire. Magic. And you're
But I do throw my 2 cents in of like silly things, like in that monkey thing. I thought the word should pop out, but I mean very silly little things. But
Mary Beth
she's awesome.
That monkey thing was funny because Mary Beth is always wants to be positive, and so you wanted the positive words to come out more.
And then Kate said she wanted
The negative
words. She wanted the this and that, and I was like, oh no, the happy and the whatever. But I don't know. You know what? Honestly, I was born like that. I don't know what to do about that positive attitude thing.
I don't think you should do anything about that. I think
Yeah.
more people need that. But yeah, only a few times I think have you had a really I went in one direction and you had something different in mind. But it's almost always like in those cases better. Like the one where I can't remember the topic, but it was the little kid. It was like the black and white, and you wanted to see like
a balloon or
a
something?
little girl all the way to an adult with a balloon. No, but it was good. It ended up being good.
Hey, it's collaborative. What can we say? But anyway, we're going to keep on trying to do our best. And like I said, if you have topics that you'd like to talk about, or you with us, or have me talk about, or that you want to talk about, and you have something that you want to share with us as a guest blogger, let us know. And
So we haven't really talked about this very much. We'll talk about it in front of you guys. So we have this idea for February.
oh, you mentioned, she said idea for February, but that's all I know. So you're hearing it first, lick me. Okay. So if I say no go, sorry. Okay.
So your husband has this med spa.
Right.
And you've shared with us some of the great procedures they have and treatments they have. But we've also talked a lot about positive body image and things like that. Like we've talked about it, but maybe not talked about it on the blog.
It's so funny. Okay, I don't even know what she's going to say, but I'll tell you this. Yesterday, when my ham bone arm was out in the love scene, she said, well, positive image, question marks, like you have to talk about that. So is that where this is headed?
Yeah.
Is about that ham bone?
Because Mary Beth has expressed to you all and to me and to anyone who will listen how she doesn't like to show her arms.
I like sleeves. You know what? They were never attractive. They've always never been shapely. I mean, maybe it's a thing. I admire women with shapely arms. I've never had shapely arms. And now, especially as I've gotten older, yeah, man, where's the sleeves? And then I had that bed scene with Steven, and I don't know, for some reason, it was one of those days where I just kind of thought, whatever. There's a bad word I could use right there. Be like,
Yeah.
but I won't say it. But I just thought, it is what it is, and that's who I am. And I have to say, when you get older, you do let go of a lot of the things that you're just so darn insecure about and crazy about. There is kind of a F it. Can I say that? Can I not? Maybe not.
Yeah.
Attitude. Well, you kind of have to say, like, I just have to embrace it. But the difference is, it's on national television, and I have to say, I don't love that. I didn't even remember that this episode was on yesterday until Mandy told me. So then I thought, well, I better look it up. And
Then I thought later I shouldn't have told her.
I would have never known. I would have never. But it started out okay because the sheets were kind of good. Maybe my arm. But then later it was just like the angle over here, across the ham bone over there. But whatever, whatever. It is what it is.
So that's the idea.
I'm more
The whatever.
concerned about being my ham bone out than being naked in bed with a foreign guy that's not my real husband. You know what I mean? Like, that bothers me more is the ham bone than
Right.
being in bed with him.
Well, you're comfortable with him.
Yeah, we
right?
are. Yeah,
It's
and
different.
he knows I have the ham bone. He knows. I'm always talking about it.
Ham bone. That would
This is
never
my
be a
ham
way I
bone.
would
This is my ham
describe
bone.
something like that, but okay. So the thought is, arms aside, you're pretty, you're
Yes.
pretty confident in yourself and who you are, and I think there's a lot of women who struggle with that. And so I've been talking about partnering with the Med Spa and you and a friend of mine who's a fabulous photographer to do a campaign to promote sort of body image. And I thought the blog for the month of February could follow that. And
That'd be cool.
could have some guest bloggers, you, and maybe women at different stages in their life and how they feel about body image
Yeah.
and how they've learned to embrace themselves.
You know, what maybe what would be cool is if you guys wrote in some stuff too, and we could put those quotes. That would be cool.
Oh, that's cool.
In a blog we do.
That's cool.
But you know, I have to say, I was just in a situation, and this happens to me often, that I'll take a photograph with people, and I mean, like friends of mine, whatever, and they don't like the picture. They're looking at the pictures and getting rid of the pictures, and I don't like my angle there. I don't like.
Oh.
And
Let
I
me get
thought,
on my good side.
yeah, and my good side, and everybody's just doing these sort of profile pictures, which I don't understand. It reminds me of old Rona Barrett, which you probably don't even know who that is. But there was a magazine, like a Hollywood magazine, a long time ago. I can't remember the name of it. But the lady in the corner, there was like a little picture of her in the corner. It was Rona Barrett, and it was just her side picture like this. But anyway, and when people are doing this, and also with fellow actors on the show, this happens too when we shoot shots around the studio. Everyone's like to see, and is it okay? And
Approve.
I have to say, I don't ever do that. I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is, and you just have to throw it out there. And especially about aging, I have this ongoing thing, and I think for all of us, you're a zillion years younger than me, Mandy, but you look at a picture of yourself 5 years ago, and you will say, back then you felt like you feel right now, like, oh my God, I'm getting so old. But back then, you look at that picture now, and you think, well, I looked pretty good 5 years ago, and that is going to be the ongoing tale.
Right.
And I personally would like to live to 100. I hope it happens, but I think we just have to keep rocking it. My lipstick might get redder, and my cheeks rose, and my glasses bigger, and everything. But
Well, I always
mean,
think
you have to
too,
embrace it.
When somebody looks at a picture of themselves and they're like, "Oh, my arms," or my nose, or that's what stands out to me. Nobody else is looking at that and seeing that
Right.
about me or you.
Right. Well, there's also that. When you look in the mirror at yourself, I always say that there's sort of a 3-foot rule. Like, we all think, oh my God, people see this. Well, actually, step 3 feet away from your mirror, and it's a lot different.
Yeah,
and
'cause
then
very
lose your
few-
eyesight, and then
Very few people are getting closer
no,
than that.
yeah. And those people, you're getting away. It's like the close talker from
those close
Seinfeld.
talker.
Right.
All right, so
Well, let's do that then. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think that'll be interesting. So if you guys have thoughts or ideas on that, so Mary Beth will share some thoughts, and we'll find some other women who can bring some insight to the table
Right.
as well.
Right. Maybe some makeup tips and things too.
Oh yeah,
that'd be
yeah. You guys had lots of really good suggestions. I like the hair and makeup video blog. Getting somebody from hair and makeup to come
Yeah.
give some tips.
Right. Or maybe we can shoot getting it done at work or something like that. We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
But
All
anyway,
right.
you guys, thank you.
Good,
Thank you for
thank you.
being supportive. I really, really appreciate it. And we're going to keep on rocking. Okay. Bye.
Bye.